Hello, welcome back to Minecraft. Hello, Minecraft.
Hello.
Right, we're out in the desert with cheat mode on and eternal day in creative mode, right? So this isn't
Yes,
part of
we're
our
melting.
normal base stuff. That's why we've moved away and into the desert, because we've been talking about Persian themed worlds and all of that stuff for our next server, and we thought, like, we didn't really want to, just because of the time we have, like, today. We wanted to record, but we didn't have enough time to set up anything like extravagant build-wise for our normal series. So this is kind of off our normal build structure that we're doing. That's why we're in cheat mode and in the desert, because we're going to build something Persian to show you what potentially we'll be building on a new server when we start doing it. So, and just kind of, help your idea with the themes a bit more, and helps us when we build in the next server as well. So yes, creative mode time. Hello. Right. What are we building first? That image that I showed you before, or are we doing like a small house first?
I like that image.
Just go for the image? Alright.
Yeah.
So what I think we should do based on that image, right, is if I come up here, that to do a building with texturing, right? So you have like a brick wall of a building, and normally a brick wall you'd only do like one thick. I'm gonna just break your stuff here just to show you what I'm talking about here, right? But to get any texturing on a one thick wall, it doesn't work, because as soon as you broke through a one thick wall, you're actually in the building, so it doesn't really work, yeah? Whereas on a two thick wall, you can do one layer of texturing of some kind, and you've still got a brick wall behind it. And even further on a three thickness wall, you can do even more extravagant texturing. So say over here-ish, I'm just going to show very quickly. There we go. So now I've got more like extravagant texturing on this by making it a three thick wall.
Don't forget we've got things like panels as well for texturing.
We do. That's very true. We do. So we can do that. Although that's going to be, when we're building on the other server, that'll be a bit harder to kind of come across, making all the diamond saws and all the rest of it. But we can do that too. But the other problem, no, I guess it's fine. I can ignore what I was saying there. So I think for the building that we were talking about, because it's quite a big extravagant building, should we do a three thick wall to really push out this nice texturing? So let's start off with doing like just a giant three thick straight wall across for now to show the front of this building. How far are we going to do it? Maybe a little bit wider than what I've got.
Basically, we just went nuts on Google, looked for ancient Persian architecture, and found a building that looked cool to build. So we thought, let's give it a try.
Yeah, and see if we can recreate the style of it. Let's say, like, most of the stuff that we'll end up doing when we're doing the server for real, it'll be a combination of Google images and using what we've learnt from building a Persian building. Once we get the idea of the architecture and what are common themes that run through it, then we'll be able to build completely on our own of buildings after we know the idea behind it. So I love the Persian theme. I always think of games like Prince of Persia, especially the old days. You remember the platformer? That was rock hard.
Oh, definitely. I don't know how often I died against my mirror opponent. Oh.
Yeah. Besides that Prince of Persia, did you play Sands of Time on the PlayStation?
Yes,
or anything?
I definitely played Sands of Time. I didn't do Warrior Within, and what's the other one called again? There's a third one even. I do have them on Steam, but I never found the time to play them.
I played the first two. But the third one I haven't played either. Oh yeah, I think the second one is Warrior Within, isn't it? I loved them. I thought they were great. I loved the fact that you'd look around the environment, and first of all, whenever you entered like a room of some kind, and
You get a small hint on how to get through the area.
yeah. And actually, that the influence of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, and the way and the cinematic way they did it is being used in Assassin's Creed. Actually, in lots of games, if you look at the way Assassin's Creed in later versions, you'd enter a room, it would pan the camera around the room to show you the route that it expects you to take, and then you'd have to work your way up there yourself. And that was pretty much a carbon copy.
And if you actually look at Assassin's Creed 1, that one is also very close to Persian build. As in, it's actually there.
It is, although it's a bit more modern Persia, isn't it, compared to
True.
the ancient Persia of Prince of Persia. And you can see that influence. I know that, it's more historical, the Assassin's Creed games, but, you get a lot more, not just desert kind of builds, but like the city thing. You don't really get the city feel in Prince of Persia games that you get from Assassin's Creed, which is great for Assassin's Creed because it works fantastically with the stealthy point of view of it and that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's a good start of a massive wall to get a basic. We're going to have to do some texturing of it. So we need to find out the middle block here. So let's let me grab.
Let's do a block count.
I'm going to use these.
You got the measuring tape on you?
Oh, we could spawn in a mesh. I tend to find the easiest way to get a middle block is to go in twos, like so.
You might need to extend it by one then.
So that's good.
We're perfect.
And then you go two again. I mean, yeah, measuring tape will do it as well, so we could do that. I'm just trying to do it super fast. And then you go two of these. Okay. Which means that...
Extended by 2 blocks? 3 blocks actually. No, 2 blocks.
No, there should be still a middle because it's still an even number. But now because
but still, might as well extend it. Then we're basically done. This one would be the middle.
Yeah, true. Alright, yeah, let's do that. Alright, right, you're doing that. I'm going to take all these extra red blocks off again. I know it's an unusual episode. I hope you enjoy it. You can always let us know if you want us to do more straight up creative builds that we kind of mix in stuff that are serious. And you can always let us know. I'm happy to do that kind of thing. So I think we want like
So, Fire, what type of games do you actually enjoy the most then?
I think I've talked about this before in other episodes of stuff, but I've always been a big RPG kind of gamer. But the action RPGs are quite a nice genre that I've been getting really into. MMOs obviously is something that I've been playing for quite some time. Just wondering
Too
if...
wide, I think. Or not high enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe not high
Not high enough.
It's weird because I can get on with lots of different types of games, and like to be honest, when I was that's not good at all. Lol. I think it's because we're combining builds here. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to be very much into games that more like Twitch gaming, so a lot of first-person shoot 'em ups more that I used to enjoy. But as I got older, like the Twitch game stuff, where you requiring reaction speeds, less so. I don't know, maybe it will happen to everybody, but eventually. But are these for the Windows?
Yeah.
Well, ish. The texturing kind of Windows as opposed to actual Windows. And then...
Yeah, things like that.
Let's do a gap of 2 and do an archway kind of hole that perhaps even goes in 3 thick, like so. And then I've got just enough room to do the
I
same
like that.
over here.
See, hole of 2? Yep.
Yeah, as I've got older, I guess the strategy games kind of moved itself forwards into the games I enjoy, like XCOM. Oh, there's a new XCOM coming in like a week or so. That's
15th of November.
yeah, totally looking forward to that. But wait a minute, why is there a difference here? Oh, it's fine. Somewhere we've screwed up, but we'll build around it, it's fine. Yeah, so XCOM with its turn-based stuff and the strategy of that's fantastic, loving that. So I'll definitely get on to doing that. Why is that so weird? Something's not right.
I'll extend it with 2 blocks on this side. That should actually solve the problem. I think we made a mistake with pointing out the middle.
Yeah, I must have done it 2 off or something. Doesn't matter. As long as we can fix it, that's fine. Yeah, Civ 5. I've been back in playing Civ 5 again with the turn-based strategy of that. That's always fun and great games.
With the new DLC out, I think they improved the AI on that one a lot.
Yeah, well, we've been playing multiplayer. So last night, me, Kyan, Holy Gun, a guy called Seravin, I don't think you know. Yeah, just a whole bunch of us. It was about Miracy was there as well. So it's about 6 of us doing. We did a team game, 2 versus 2 versus 2. And we've actually saved it. We're in the middle of doing that.
No.
I was gonna say that's not quite working. I'm liking the. No, I can't even talk. I'm quite liking the look of it at the moment. It definitely gives the theme right straight away. What I think perhaps we need to think about, because obviously this is just one wall of the building as opposed to the whole lot, but perhaps
True. It needs a dome behind it, a big ass dome.
I was yeah, that's true. I was thinking maybe on the level above, perhaps. I know this is straying away from our building idea that we originally had.
True.
But perhaps some kind of balcony.
Being creative.
And if we use what you built previously with the
with the fencing. Yep.
Yeah, so if we do, I'm going to grab this smooth sandstone pillar here, and at the front, I don't know how big, probably 3 high, so that a person can actually be under here. And we'll do that on the other side. We're going to have to do more pillars than just these to hold the whole thing up, but 2, 3. And then roof it.
One above this window exactly.
Is that not connecting? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Good.
Oh, we're making one little mistake, I think, in my opinion. We're building it on the first line of the building. We should pull it back a bit.
1 second, let me take a look first. I don't know. What I was going to do is the fences thing that you did as part of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And then over here would be the wall here, I guess, and the actual building. So you're probably looking at this coming across.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'll drop this pillar here. Oops. Yes, I was wrong. Drop that there. And then carry on with more of these fences all the way across. Like that.
There.
Yeah, cool. So it gives it that kind of... The thing is with like a lot of Persian builds that are for outside spaces, I don't know why they had some kind of covering over it, but they tend not to worry too much about protection. I mean, it's not like it's going to rain. So it's not. That's not really what they're protecting themselves from, I guess. It must be like maybe
No,
structural.
actually, there's a use for those kind of roofs they had. They had plants growing on top of that. Grapevines,
Yeah, of
dates,
course. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, it's basically like trellis then, really.
That's a problem. English isn't my first language, so I don't know all the plant names in English.
No, trellis isn't a name for plant. Trellis is the name of, say, the... I don't need that kind of... I've got proper creative mode flight. Yeah, trellis is the name of, say, these wooden things. That would be called a trellis.
Ah, okay.
Well,
There you have it, folks. We're learning something with Professor Firelash.
Well, only if you're not English, I guess. Or American or whatever. Okay, so then, like, this being the building through here, like, this would actually be the second floor across here that, you know, people might have living quarters. They'd be up here, but this would actually be properly roofed above my head here, I would say. But then what they'd do is they'd be able to come outside. So perhaps, I'm not sure if it should link up with the pillars or whether or not there should be like smaller gaps. Let me try and think about the gaps with the pillars here. So you got pillar. Oops. Oh yeah, that means that's. Wait a minute. I'm confuzzled. Yeah, maybe that's right. Yeah, that's better, right. I'm confusing myself. So yeah, let's drop that pillar back in there. And then work out 2 and 2. Yeah, see, that only gives a 1 gap here. But I guess it's where... I actually prefer the doubles in there instead. And have 2 entrances. Yeah, let's do that. That kind of works nicely. So let me do that for each of these. So I know I'm not explaining words properly by just only half
You're
saying
throwing out random
words.
thoughts.
I know, yeah, I'm throwing out random thoughts here, and it's not really full sentences. But what I was thinking was the doorways. Originally I was thinking of like a small doorway to come through, but actually what was left behind with these big doorways seemed to work better in my mind, so I'm actually just going to follow that suit and leave that as a wall. And so it'll be like a double gap. Oh, you're doing decoration outside, nice. And the double gap again, and that should be one of these. Line up with a pillar, which it does. And
Grass block it is then.
oops.
Are you allowed to grow on that? Yep.
Okay, yeah, nice. It's a shame it didn't bend the other way towards the... They've bent the opposite ways. I don't know.
Still cool.
Yeah, they are kind of cool. It's kind of hard to see the architecture of the building
Ooh.
now, though, with these in the way.
And I learned something else as well. I need to replace these. These.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I'll work on that for a bit.
Okay, this is looking kind of okay for the front. I'm not sure about these single pillars back here, though. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fix it. Maybe... What happens if you put a pillar next to one of these?
World edit, where are you, my friend?
Oh, I wonder if I can do this.
This really brings back memories of our first series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that myself, actually. Oh, okay. I'm changing my design of this doorway with this in mind. This should look good. I'm going to have to mess around quite a bit though. If I get rid of
Yeah, I'm going to move the palm trees.
that though.
And long live the power armor. Bye bye leaves.
I think forge multi-blocks are just about to come to my rescue. Although I could have done that with stairs actually. Yeah, let's do it with stairs.
Yeah.
Although I don't know,
I'll
do you
pull 'em
have
back a
smooth
bit.
sandstone stairs? Or are they always these cracked stairs?
Let me look it up. Stairs.
Can't even
Nope.
type.
We're pretty much screwed on that front.
Well, no, we're not screwed on that front because I can do it in the multi-block parts I was using.
The sandy
already.
stone. Yeah, that also works. Let's see. Let's put them back a bit then.
Okay, drop that there. There, and there. Okay, let's step back now. Is that giving me my extra thickness I need? No, not really. Like problem I have is I'm finding this is like these single pillars feel too thin. If I take one of these slabs maybe, like a smooth sandstone slab, let's try those. And bring them in like a half step across. Oh, that might work. Yeah, I think that fixes it. Because I was worried that those looked...
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Can you do something similar with the windows downstairs? With the bigger ones?
We probably can do that. Wait a minute, let me finish this.
I've extended the walkway a bit and moved the palm trees. Yes, that works a lot better. Now all it needs is a shrubbery. Actually, it might need a fountain, but that's for later.
Are you doing your own little hanging gardens here? That's kind of more Babylonian. Although Babylonian and Persian themes actually have a lot of similarities.
Ah, that's how you did it. Cool.
Yeah, so I think it's coming together. It's taking a little bit of time, but and you know, chances are we're probably only doing the front facade of the house really, as opposed to the full house for now. If you want us to carry on and finish this building, you can always leave a comment about doing that, and we can finish this building off. But really, the whole point was to get the idea of what we build in the actual server when we're doing stuff. How about the chiseled ones instead of the creeper faces?
Chiseled. Where are you? Yep. Oh no, wait, that's the ornate sandy one.
Or no, whatever. The creeper face thing, like, is...
Yeah, I like it.
Let's have a look. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think.
It's not a temple dedicated to creepers. I do agree with that.
Can you find the slab version of that and recess that into the wall? I know I'm being a real pain. This is what I'm like, actually. This is why people don't want to be on the server with me, because
No,
I'm
there
like,
is no.
this.
There is unfortunately
It must be. It's
no
should be part
slab
of
version of it.
multi-parts.
I've got the facade version, and that's
Wait a
it.
minute.
Ornate sandy block and facade ornate sandy stone.
Let me just grab. So you got sandy. Oh yeah, you're right. There's no slab. Except with a facade.
Would have
No, no, I can't make
would have
that
loved to
work.
recess it.
Well, you
You
can,
forgot one of your
but it's
entrances
more of
on the top side.
it's more of a recess than I potentially had planned, and that's. Oops.
Ah, yes, I see what you mean. That could work. Let's see how it looks.
Yeah. God, I keep getting creative mode flight. There we go, double jump. Yeah, it's a bit too deeply recessed. It's a real shame I can't work out a half
Yep.
slab recess it in.
It gets really dark if you do that.
Yeah, let me finish up the top here, which is almost done now. Cool. Yeah, I tend to trunk in when people are building stuff and just like, no, wrong, 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 wrong. If you watched our creative series, and that used to be a running joke. Everyone's like, wrong, 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 wrong.
Ooh, wow, that's cool.
Slab. I'm wondering whether or not I can put that original idea back in. So I'm looking through potential ways of adjusting what you've got.
Do you like the lighting trick? I removed the block here and replaced it with a torch, giving us a bit more light contrast in the texturing.
I'm just testing something. It might go, but
Did you find a facade
it's not a facade. It's a slab.
of a?
But it's a stone slab.
Oh, it's the stone brick. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought let's give it a look and see how it feels on the building. Because I really like the idea of just like a smaller break. And the fact it's
If that one
darker is
doesn't
okay
work
because
because
it'll
it's
be
grey.
in shadow.
If you don't like that one in the end, you can always try the chiseled seared slab as well.
Chiseled
That one is
sears.
black instead of grey.
I did the work. I looked up slab, but grey wall slabs, quartz slabs. You can go lighter highlighting, but I think with it being darker, I think this kind of works even with the
Yeah,
grey
it
instead
does
of the
work.
brown. It gives it a little bit more colour to it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me think about, perhaps we should fake out a ceiling of some kind, 'cause we haven't actually done that yet. So let's draw this up higher on the front building. Doesn't need to be much higher. Perhaps either 2 or 3. We'll have a look when I'll do 2 first, and if I need to add a third.
No idea if this will work, what I'm working on right now. I just want to see if it breaks the color a bit.
I don't think you want to break the colour. That's the thing about Persian buildings, is that it's a sea of sand and these pasty
Oh, this is still
colours.
sandstone. It's just a darker one. It's
Yeah,
the darker sandstone.
But what you do is that the next building across would be like a darker sand to show that they were built in different times. Do you know what I mean? So, because they'd use the same material,
could
they weren't
work.
rich people, so you know they'd use the same, very much the same brick all the way through a building. But then when you put the building next to it, you do use a darker one to show that that building was perhaps built 200 years earlier and had been muddied and dirtied over time. So that's, you kind of do the shading using different buildings, I think, next to each other. This one's probably a very
And
newer build or recently cleaned.
yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
No, I see where you're going with that, and the shapes and the different feelings it'll give. Yeah, that could work.
Okay, right, so there's the 3 high, which is going to turn into the roof. And something else that I find is common with buildings of this nature. So I'm just going to chuck out, because I'm not doing the whole building here, Malinka, so what I'm going to do is just chuck a roof on, just like 4 blocks wide or maybe 5 blocks wide, so we're not going to do the whole building. Just so that we get the idea of the roof. There we go, and then this across here.
Let's see.
Okay, so the other thing about these buildings is that roof gardens and roof terraces was a common thing, right? It's fairly common to have that, but people were protected from going over the edge somewhat, but not like massively. It wasn't like proper fencing, like balconies that we'd have today. Instead, they'd just have a lipped edge, wouldn't they? And you sometimes see in action movies where they're chasing across the top of Persian buildings and leaping from one flat surfaced roof to another.
Yep. Sorry, I was looking up a block at the same time.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to think of a film that they do that in. They did actually have a film of Prince of Persia, actually. I think that probably happened in, but...
Yep, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ben Kingsley... Well, that's at least 2 of the names I can remember.
I quite enjoyed it, actually. Wasn't it based on the Sands of Time computer game?
It was based on the Sands of Time, with the dagger and everything.
But I imagine there was a scene like that. The Mummy, I believe, has scenes where there's stuff happening in the, in the desert town as such, where they're chasing off. At least one of the Mummy films, maybe not the first one, but... So yeah, that kind of gets a look of the roof, right? So up here, if you can see, like, if this was further out, I know I've only done a short one, but they would be hanging out on this kind of roof. And then perhaps even, like, if there was a taller section, I'll just show an example of that, is they'd actually have you'd panel across here, I think, and then get that up. I won't make it a lot taller, but just a little bit taller here. And close this off, and we'll just call it that wide. Actually, if I can make it even, it'll make it look better. So let me work out that's 2 away from that pillar, which means it's 2 away from this one, and here's the bit where it goes higher.
Might even put a back one here.
No, what we're going to do is just fill out the roof again. This isn't a big enough, wide enough roof to put it back one, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is just redo
Fair enough.
this, get rid of these slabs, which are now in the way, and just increase the height of the roof here. So this should disappear down here. But not that this bit matters quite so much, but yeah, and then that roof comes,
like that, yeah.
Comes across here. And have we not done it high enough? Oh yeah, so my bad. Needs to come up one higher then, I guess. Either that or Malinka changed the height. The edges are slabbed. Like so. Yeah, across the top. So I'll do the other side, you do this side.
We'll meet each other on the other side then.
Well, I'm going to do the back of the building, you can do the front, basically is what I was saying. There we go. There we go. So then you have, that would be more of a tiered roofs kind of style. And that way when people were jumping between the buildings in these action movies, you know, they'd be like, oh my god, someone's chasing, jump. Oh my god. And they'd climb up the walls as opposed to leap. There's, you know, some kind of parkour climb. And then there'd be a gap between a building, they'd jump to another roof and carry on as they do their parkour roll or whatever.
Something like that, I think.
Yeah, with maybe a further recess in
2 blocks? 2 blocks.
in here, like so, or whatever, like that. Ceiling in the way. But you can see, like, what I was saying about like the thickness of the walls. The more thick you can make the walls of a building, the more kind of interesting textures you can throw in, and you know. But obviously, it has to be correct with the weight of the building. This is a very large building, so we get away with doing like 3 blocks thick. However, if you're doing a little outhouse, you can't really make it 3 blocks thick, otherwise there'll be no inside. That's kind of cool. I think we've done a fairly good job of, like, I know it's just the front facade of a house, but like I think it works, kind of, you know.
Yeah, I like it. Let's hear out this row so we get a bit of feeling for it.
You know, that's, I would say, what kind of building would you say? Maybe a government building of some kind that might be this. It'd be, or maybe
Bathhouse.
Yeah, bathhouse, or a rich person's kind of villa-esque type, sultans. Although if it was a rich person's, you probably want a little bit more ornate than this. But yeah, bathhouse would be a quite good feel for a building like this. Yeah. Whereas, you know, we will do things like temples and that kind of stuff, I think, when we do the full build in around as well.
Definitely.
Which have a different feeling again.
We'll probably have some buildings that have functionality with technique hidden beneath the ground and such. And then we'll have some filler buildings just to make it look pretty. Things like that.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, for Persian temples, it tends to kind of go a little bit more Greek. So you end up having that kind of...
pillared feeling, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the Persepolis kind of feel about...
Yeah, that could work. Let's
more like the
see,
temple
something like...
You'd use more quartz, I think, and just have like these quartz, there's special
I'm
quartz.
just more about the shape now.
Because I think you have quartz pillars, actually, which are textured correctly with the...
Well, things like that you'd get then.
Yeah, and then there would be a triangular roof. I don't know if we can show that. Let's do it quick. So it would be something like that.
Yeah, that'll work.
And that's more, yeah, that's kind of the Persepolis kind of Greek influence, but I think Persian temples tend to do very similar. It would be a lot more massive than this, and it's just a basic shape, but get more subtlety. Anyway, I know I'm ranting about, you know, the builds and architecture and this kind of thing on video, and I don't do that very often, but...
He does it off camera a lot, though.
Off camera I do, yeah, but on camera not so much. I like to
But I do
build...
like how it looks now.
Yeah, like when I do designing of buildings, I don't just think about, you know, a usable space. I try and think of, you know, what's the purpose of the building? Would it be able to hold its own weight? Would it be able to, you know, fit in with its surroundings? You know, how much money would these people have had to build the building? As you saw earlier, I said, well, you know, they wouldn't use multiple. Then they tend to. It's, you know.
What we could do now is, how much time do we still have left, Fire?
Oh, well, I think we're fairly wrapping up, but go on. What do you...
Well, just like us, for a small comparison, do we have a bit of flat space somewhere? Not really, that's annoying. I want to build... Oh, right here could work for a second. It's just not that big, but big enough to give the feeling.
Sure.
We also saw some pictures of just random housing. And they weren't that big, actually.
No, they
Mostly
weren't.
just 2 or 4 rooms.
Uh,
And one part was lower and one was higher.
Actually, I was going to show.
See.
Well, at the same time you're doing that, I'm going to show the other part of what I was explaining about the a building next to it being older.
Go right ahead.
So there's probably be like a very small gap between them. They're not quite the same textures actually. I don't think as well that they worried too much about matching the sizes of buildings all the time to each other. If one house was poking in front of another, it didn't really matter. It's kind of very, this is a space, build a house kind of thing. And if say for instance the second house here was like a couple of meters in front of the other one, I don't think that really matters so much. So I don't think roads, obviously, back in in those times, they're more like pathways, so they didn't really bring...
Where we are going, we don't need roads.
Indeed. Funny. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's alright, it's fine. Little recess there, drop that. Yeah, didn't they bring their goods kind of into the city? But once it was into their city, they'd probably they didn't really bring the wagons directly into the city so much. They'd unload the wagons and then they'd carry them in these big white mausoleum sacks to wherever it needed next. So as long as someone on foot could do it, you tend not to bring the carriages into all the little nooks and crannies. I mean, there'd be some pathways that they'd have wagons that they would take through, and by wagons it's more like a wheelbarrow type affair, that some people pulling it with slaves, I'd imagine.
We still have the slabs.
So yeah, you wouldn't have that much of internal road structure. It'd be more like pathway structure instead. And there'd probably be a road up to whatever the main building was, if you had like a sultan or whoever the landowner was of whichever town or city you were in. There would be a road probably up to his house winding through, but other than that... I'm not convinced about this sandy block compared to the sandstone, that smooth sandstone, where it connects the textures better. But I think this will give a general idea anyway. And now I just want these sandy slabs to drop on top to give that same roof feeling. There we go. This might end up being a very long episode of stuff. I don't mind. It's fine. I'm not going to worry too much about all the walls being perfectly formed here, I don't think, on a showcase, really. I did want to make sure that when you're looking at it, though, you didn't see... Oh, I've pretty much finished now. I might as well fill it up.
There. Something like this. Window and a window.
And you'd probably have a doorway.
Of course, I didn't do a lot of texturing, but...
With... Have I got a smaller version of this? Be under pillars, isn't it? For a lot of... Trying to look for these sandy block pillars, if there are any. Doesn't look like it. That's a shame. I was hoping to multi-block that out too.
Ah, yeah.
I might just use the slabs. It's not quite what I intended, but yeah, 'cause there's not enough room here for the slabbed entrance. I'll put it on the other side. That'll solve it. There we go. Oh yeah, and you've gone for a bit of a different style. Cool. Yeah, but you're right, and yeah, the juxtaposition of houses, you'd see like different coloured sand and tone of sand behind the other one. I say I'm not massively pleased about the way the texture looks compared to the sandstone on this. I'd probably have to change to a different type of block for the sandy stone as opposed to sandstone, but we'd find something anyway. Cool. Anyway, it's only supposed to be a basic show, Malinka, so I think that kind of shows a basic tiny house of some kind and give a general feel. We don't really have time to show it out 100%, but hopefully we'll get general feeling of buildings here. And to say the main places where we're going to have a lot of our machines and automations, they'll be housed in something like this, as opposed to the small buildings that might contain, I don't know, we chuck a couple of beds in them and that's and some lights and that'll be it. So we could sleep anywhere in the city, but our automation was housed in nice buildings. How's that sound? That could be good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, my computer's doing something weird. I have no idea what's going on.
Alright. Well, I think it's a good time to finish up. Leave a comment, subscribe, and ratings and all of that good stuff about what we're doing. And yeah, that's the idea of Persia. Again, if you guys veto the theme for our next server to something else, then fine. But I just, you know what? I wanted to build something Persian regardless, so screw you. So we've done that now. If you want us to do a full build of all the way through the server as a general theme, then I'd definitely look forward to it. But if something else comes up that you suggest that sounds really fun and great to do, then we'll switch to that. So for myself and Malinka, and I'm going to call this, it's more of a let's build FTB style as opposed to a let's play. So that's good. If you want to see more of this style of let's build, of creative mode stuff, then we can do more of that too. We'd have to do it away, like we've done here, away from our legit stuff. But I've got no problem with doing, like, mixing a bit of creative with a bit of actual legit builds. We could even split our desert in half that we're going to use on the next server, one being creative and one side being non. And then we can mix the episodes up. Anyway, let us know what you think, as as the audience leaves comments, subscribe, like, blah blah blah. I'm going over it yet again. I think we should say goodbye before I go mad. Bye.
Goodbye.